Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day in TERA. This will be part 2 of the mythical gear, also called Mahtnan. Well, Mahtnan gear, also called mythical, which is the purple gear. As you learned from the first video, the first thing that you should do is pick the purple gear. Yes, forget about the blue gear, the legendary gear, the golden gear. Yeah. Those are a no-go. Those gear pieces are only used to transfer the random options, as you consider the purple ones. Those are the only things, well, and the etchings also. But that is a conversation for a later time. Yes, so let's begin with talking about how the mythical gear actually works. First thing that you need to learn is whether you are DPS, tank, or healer class. Yes, so if you're a DPS, for example, I will begin with DPS. My DPS class will need something that is not as much as a support option, but more of a damage dealing option. So the support option should be something around a blood oath or a heavy blow, or what else do we have here? Well, this one is for PvE. Yes, so also the other thing that is also a little bit, which complicates a little bit more the choosing of your gear, is the fact that there is, besides the fact that there is a DPS, tank and healer option out there, you also need to know if whether or not you are mostly a PvE player or if you're a PvP player, because that will also play a role in choosing your options. But let's be real here, the PvP is basically non-existent these days. I mean, there's only like a window of 3-4 hours which is designated for PvP, and even then it's barely noticeable. Barely anyone comes to play during that small window, so it's dying little by little. I guess it's been dying for years now, but it's still kinda alive-ish. Yeah, so let's begin by seeing what do we have here for our top gear for PvE and PvP alike. So this one could be used in PvE and PvP, the Blood Oath. It reduces HP recovery by 50%, but the skill damage and healing skills effects are increased by 10%. Now here the sacrifice is your HP recovery reduced by 50%. So this one doesn't say anything that it only works on monsters, like certain random options are there out there say. So you could use this both in PvP and PvE. Then we have the heavy blow, which in my opinion is my preferred one. So especially if you're a gunner, in my opinion, the heavy blow is the best one that you can have. Yeah, so here the reduced, oh wait, here here the sacrifice is your attack speed, which is decreased by 10%, and the skill damage and healing skills skill effects are increased by 16%. So in here you really have to watch your rotations in order to better this Blood Oath random option, which in theory should be almost equivalent in terms of damage to heavy blow, because here the speed is not reduced, so you can actually make these 10% work to reach maybe the levels of damage of the heavy blow. I'm not quite so sure, I haven't done the test yet, and I don't think I will ever do, because to do the test you have to spend a lot of money. Or you could just pick like a heavy blow level 1 and Blood Oath level 1 and then test them out. I might actually do that, maybe. But then again, the secondary options that follow Then the random options, I mean, they would have to be completely equal in terms of those options for me to actually make a successful test. So I don't know, it's looking kinda not so good for the future of the weapon test. Kinda dim. Yeah, so yes, so my personal opinion, I am looking for a heavy blow. Level 5, I think I can work it better, and also because I also focus a little bit on PvP when the Sunday comes and you have the CU, the heavy blow will most certainly be worth more than the blood off. So blood off, in my opinion, is better for PvE, but it's also very good in PvP. Yeah, make no mistakes, it's a very powerful weapon. But if you take it really to PvP only, for example, the heavy blow 5 would be a definite choice. Just because the gunner doesn't have so many damage dealing skills, but the ones that he has are very powerful. Yeah, so for example, this heavy blow could be very well used on your boulder. Just imagine the 16% increase on your boulder. That would be a very huge increase comparing to the 10%, when the 6% is enough to make a huge deal, especially since now you can make with this purple gear damage in millions, as I did not long ago in CU. I did like 1,200,000 damage or something like that. 1,200,000 damage, I think around that. It was really amazing. And my gear is not even halfway through enchanting, as you can see here. This is pretty much how my gear was up from CU. Yeah, I haven't enchanted even one level. I'm keeping my materials for the enchant event. Maybe I will make a video about enchanting my gear also, just to show you to reveal to you if the event is actually legitimate or if it's just here as, I don't know, to make us feel good, but when in fact it doesn't do really anything. Yeah, so if it deals millions in damage right now, then I think once I reach like level +8 on my entire gear, I think this will deal like 1,500,000, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, this is your weapon. Also, don't forget that your weapon will only be either occult or dauntless. There is no other. If you have, for example, your axe is dauntless, there will never be an occult one, because the weapon is class locked to your magical or physical stats. So if the game recognizes you as a, well, not the game, the developers made it so the weapon, you had no choice in terms of dauntless or occult. They actually they preset it for you. So if you have a berserker class, the weapon will be locked to dauntless, I think, because you're a physical class. So there will be only a dauntless physical amplification weapon for you. For archer, I think it's magical, so there will only be a occult bow. Actually, let's test this out. Don't take my word for it. So let's see. Bow critical dauntless. This one is a physical amplification. The archer dauntless? Huh, I thought he was a magical one. Okay, so the archer is only dauntless, as you can see, so he's a physical class. So let's see the... Okay, so for example, a magical class for certain will be either both priest and mystics. So staff should be occult 100%. Yeah, there we go, occult. This is the priest. And the scepter for the mystic should be also occult, because he's also a magical class. See, there's only occult, there's no dauntless. So as I was saying, the weapons are locked onto your class depending on whether or not you are physical or magical, so you don't really need to check each weapon for occult or dauntless. It will already be the correct one. Yes, so after that, after you find your weapon, you should, as I said, think hard of whether or not you are DPS, tank or healer. Remember that it's not always so clear in terms of, for example, the berserker or the brawler. I mean, you can play either DPS or tank or both, I guess. It's a pretty weird game, so there is a lot to choose from. As I said, there is the heavy blow, the blood oath, which are, I guess, the two best ones for you to choose from in this game, in terms if you are a DPS class indeed, for both PvP and PvE. So let's go down and see. So for example, I have the Rage Suppressor, level 5. Oh, by the way, before I forget, these support options are the same for every weapons out there, so there will be no different kind of support options for different kind of class weapons. Like for the axe, there will also be a heavy blow, a blood oath. Yeah, let's actually see. For the axe, the top weapons, there is the Rage Suppressor, the heavy blow, of course, Might of the Fabled Creatures. Yeah, this is everything that you have also on the Gunner. So let's go down the list and see what else we have here. Yeah, the Rage Suppressor, I was going to say, is a purely PvE. You deal 16% additional damage to enraged monsters. And here the reason why there is no sacrifice in terms of speed or HP recovery is because they locked it only for PvE. You will not be able to do this damage on a player, for example. This 16% will not activate when you fight in a duel or in a civil unrest. So you will lose a lot of damage there if you go with it in a PvP environment. But it is the best one for PvE, I guess. With more blood off, heavy blow, rage superior, heavy blow. So it's basically the same ones. So what else? Rage. Cruel Curse. Yes, this one is the one that I'm actually using right now. As you can see, I have the Cruel Curse level 4. I wasn't able to find a level 5 with a low enough price because it's not supposed to remain my weapon for long, but since, as you can see, the purple stats were very good, I bought it for like 200,000-ish, I think 230,000. And yeah, the random options were not so good, but I was able to set them a little bit better for myself. But the above purple options in the support option bracket are very good, as you can see. So I bought it, it's cheap, and it deals a lot of damage in dungeons, and it works both on PvP and PvE, because it says there, when you attack an opponent, there's a 40% probability of physical and magical resistance being reduced. Reduced by 98, simply 98, when you attack an opponent. So actually you will actually notice this happen when you fight a boss, for example. You will see the Cruel Curse level 4, the Cruel Curse being applied to the boss as you fight. For example, I think after 2 minutes around that, I think you'll need around 2 minutes, depending on the level of the Cruel Curse, to set all the 100 cruel curses on the boss. So that means that you will have 9,800 physical and magical resistance decreased on the boss. Now I'm not quite sure if this is applied for the entire group, but you can see actually the physical and magical resistance on the boss bar being reduced as you attack it with time. So after you reach the 100 cruel curses on the boss, it should be like a green status ailment. You'll actually notice as it increases from 20 to 21, 22 as you attack it, almost each second depending on how fast you are and depending on your class. And yeah, that will actually increase your damage by maybe, I don't know, 5 million if you do like, I don't know, maybe 50 million in Drakon Arena, for example. In terms of damage, it will increase around that much, maybe 5 million ish, around that. You can never really be sure because of course all the parties are always different. The priests, the healers, the lancers, the amount of boost they give to you is also different. So yeah, I think all in all it should give you around 5 million more damage if you deal damage up to 50 million. If you do more than that, if you're like a Valkyrie and you do like 120 million, the damage increase should be at least around 10 more million, 15 more million. So this is a nice thing to have, I guess. It gives you a little bit of damage, and it doesn't disappear upon your death. It actually remains in the boss, which is actually something really cool. Because, and the reason I'm saying this is because before that I used to have something else. I actually used to have also a hymn of courage here, as you can see. Increases your party, and your party members' physical and magical amplification by 3.5%. I actually used to have this exact one, but with different options after it. So yeah, this one is a more of a support option. This is something that you would have either on Lancer or on a Priest. Which one is better? I'm not quite sure. I don't play really tank or Priest in this game. I used to play healer, but then I chose to switch to DPS. So now I mostly play just DPS classes. But this one is a definite support option. You will want to, as a DPS, you will want to go for Heavy Blow or Blood Oath or Cruel Curse. As far as I know, this also works on players, even though I haven't tested it yet, but yeah. So Cruel Curse, Hymn of Courage, the same one. But where is it under? Oh, there is also the Might of the Fabled Creatures. The creature, this one was a rather hard one to understand because it doesn't really explain, and you can't really find this anywhere in the internet. I mean, I've looked, maybe now it appeared, but a few days ago there wasn't anything about it. So reduce the cooldown of the fabled creatures, increased crit power passive effect by 11 seconds. So I asked around and people say that this, the fabled creatures, is what you have, for example, the special passive effect that your dragon activates. So for example, you have here passive effects, yes, and you have here the ruler of dragons. Here's the dragon power, blah blah blah. So this effect will be activated like depending on your dragon. I've heard that it activates every, I don't know, 4 or 12 hours for the non-expensive dragons. But if you buy like the diamond dragon or the monarch, I think it's called, that really expensive dragon will give you will boost you with this passive effect every 4 hours or every 2 hours, and that effect will last for 4 hours, I think. So every time you mount it, in a few hours you will get the passive effect again. So in a way the effect never really disappears as long as you mount the dragon regularly. So yeah, that is what the people say that effect actually does. Is that it prolongs your passive effect for 11 seconds, which is actually not so bad if you have a really powerful dragon effect. Yes, where was I? Oh, and also the cards, the effect that you have from the cards also, as I heard, gets increased by 11 seconds. As you know, the cards are activated every once in a while and they only last for a short time. That also gets increased by 11 seconds. Yes, so then what you have else here? The Blood River. So this would actually be, I think, maybe somewhat of a help for you in the dungeons. You would actually be able to heal yourself this way, but you would need to be fast about it. And this 0.03% is actually so small. Mark on your opponent, but the damage that you get from it is not really so good. So this is also one of the worst things that you can have. It says there max damage 200 million, but you will never actually deal this damage even after you stack it 15 times. As it says there, 0.1% of the max HP is inflicted as damage once you stack it 15 times. But that is never even close to 200,000 as I've heard, because there is hardly any boss out there who has so much damage that 1%, that 0.1% of HP that it has is 200 million. Yeah, so as I heard, you will most of the times after you stack it 15 times, you will only deal around 20 million or 30, maybe 50 million at most, but 200,000 or 200 million is something that is not achievable, not for our monsters these days at least. Maybe in the future when you have like stronger monsters, maybe this will be worthwhile, but as it is right now, the monsters don't really have that much HP to make this worthwhile. Yes, so this completes this video. I didn't think that this would actually take this much. I actually wanted to talk about the other gear pieces, but I guess this will have to wait because they all have a lot to talk about. But the weapon is one of the most important things that you will have. It is the thing that actually deals the most damage out of your entire gear, so this is why I focused on it this time. Yes, so in the next video I think I will be able to talk about all three of them in just one video, but in this video I will talk only about the mythical weapon. And in the next video, as you know, I will talk about everything else. So, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.